the behaviors or the coping mechanisms that we choose, so often we get so stuck on that, like on the tangible behavior or the tangible coping mechanism, the tangible alcohol, right? To when we allow ourselves to go beneath that, to notice the patterns, to notice the triggers as to why we're pulling for the bottle or pulling for the food or going, finding ourselves at the pantry again tonight.
Hey beautiful, welcome to Naturally Empowered Living, your safe space to guiding you on your unapologetic self-awakening journey. This is your weekly sanctuary for waking up from autopilot and transforming the way you approach life through the power of meditation, energetics, and root cause therapy. It is my mission to help you heal unprocessed emotions and release stuck energies by alchemizing your struggle cycles into opportunities for deep self-love, awareness, trust, and connection, to return to your innate essence of being, stepping back into your energy of alignment. Because here, we honor all parts of ourselves, the messy and the magic, the shadows and the light, embodying all parts that make you, you. So if you are ready to get to the root of cultivating real change, get cozy, grab your journal and maybe favorite crystals, and let's discover our power within together.
Hello, beautifuls, and welcome back to another episode of the Naturally Empowered Living podcast. This is your host, guide, and mentor in all things energetics, emotions, and self-awakening, Jenna Smith. And we are days away from it officially being the year of the horse. Wow. Year of the snake. Like I was born in a year of a snake, and I'm a Scorpio. Like I resonate deeply with that, the rise of the phoenix, right? Like coming up from the ashes and that transformation and really hitting that rock bottom to come out and shed and transform. But I'm also excited for the year of the horse, let me tell you. No, all good things. So I am so excited to jump into this episode because this is another personal one. And this one is going to be a lot more personal than last week, a lot more raw, a lot more vulnerable. We'll see if I could do this without shedding tears. I shed a lot of tears while I was writing the outline and like jotting down notes for this episode. So I feel that we'll see where it goes. I'm really excited. Really excited to share this piece of me with you because I really hope that it can land and resonate for you in some capacity that really helps you feel heard and just know that you're not alone. I feel that healing can be very isolating at times when you feel that you're the only one struggling with something, or you feel that other people don't get it, which very well can be true, but we all struggle in our own ways. Like we all have our own hardships. We all go through the shit, right? Like we all have our own versions of it. And just to know that you're not alone through it, it really helps. I mean, to have that inner knowing or just that energetic entanglement of having someone or having that support by your side. So today I want to take you behind the scenes of my personal ride with alcohol. The real struggles, the relapses, the deep emotional work that finally, I could say like quote unquote finally, which is like not even the right word, but it created lasting change. Like this episode is not going to be the highlight reel and how, oh my gosh, amazing that I feel. Like this is going to be the in the shit raw process. Because I feel like what I'm going to share is the epitome of consciously wanting something and falling back into the same cycles. And then that cycle of the emotional cycle of the guilt, the shame, the grief, the anger, the frustration. Like this episode doesn't have to solely be about sobriety. It's about healing from the patterns beneath our behaviors and learning how to show up fully for ourselves and generations to come. Like talk about the conscious willpower. What's more of a conscious willpower than your own children, right? Like, what example was I setting for my kids? Not that I was getting blackout drunk all the time, but I was just bypassing all that emotional weight of saying like, oh, it's just an adult drink, or, you can't have a drink of that. Like, it carries so much guilt and emotional weight. Or maybe saying to your kids like, oh, it's a bad habit. But then your kids are seeing you do that thing that I tell them not to do. And granted, we all have bad habits. I'm not saying that anyone is perfect, but it was just like this vicious cycle, because I'm like, here, this could be a breeding grounds for like that negative self-talk, or that like feeling like you have a bad habit, but you do it. Like, there's how my brain works, right? But the anxiety and the guilt trips and the resentments and the shame that built because of that drink. So this episode, it won't be the typical all I've learned and how amazing I feel since being sober for, let's say, how long has it been? 3 months? 4 months? I'll say it's the longest I've ever not drank since I started drinking when I was, 18, 19 years old. And it hasn't felt forceful at all. But this isn't going to be that episode about how much I've learned and how amazing I feel. Because I feel that's all that anyone ever shares about. Oh, you just got to get past the hump because you're going to feel amazing. Great. But how do I get past the hump? Like, consciously, I'm here. I want to. But what about the depths and the process of actually getting sober, of actually breaking the chains from that vice? The withdrawals, the relapses, the feelings. Then when you are sober, the feelings that come up because of the suppression of those feelings for so long because of that vice. What about that? What about all the shit and the turmoil and the hard during and even after that comes up? Like, I have tried so many times. I never even kept count, but trust me, we're going to get into like my journal entries in a little bit here, but I would always talk myself out of it. Like, oh, just one drink tonight, or it's not that bad, right? But then it would happen and I would drink, and then I wouldn't just have the one. And again, like, this doesn't always mean like the brownouts, the blackouts. It's really, it's that internal battle. Not saying like the brownouts didn't happen. Trust me, for me to even say that, knowing that I'm a mother, knowing not only the example I'm setting, but the what if scenarios that would fly through my head, that anxiety of the hangover, right? That guilt, that shame, like, it is the most, if you ever experienced any sort of addiction. And I'm not saying that you have to, or like an addiction is something that you have to go to rehab over. I'm talking about any sort of vice that you use to numb something else, that helps you avoid something else. I mean, yeah, okay, I might be downplaying addiction because I know that there are addictions that we do need to be in-house for, right? But I'm talking also about that sneaky in between where we're just able to talk ourselves out of it because we're functional. And I want to tell you something. I didn't heal the alcohol. I didn't heal, or I didn't stop drinking because I just stopped drinking. Once I healed the layers beneath, once I started peeling back the rawness of what I was hiding from or running from or avoiding, the sobriety was a natural byproduct. And this time around, I'm going to be completely transparent and honest. I'm not lying or sugarcoating it when I say this. I haven't had to try that hard to say no. And this is over a decade of struggling with alcohol. This is a byproduct of root cause therapy. I mean, it is. And this isn't even me plugging my services or what I provide, but this is like what I said before, when we get beneath those layers and heal what we're actually running from, or healing the patterns beneath the behaviors, and learning how to show up and embrace all of ourselves. Like, the healing is the byproduct. The breaking ties with the vices is a byproduct. And it might be alcohol for you. It might be weed for you. It might be eating for you. Or shopping. Or your phone. Or porn. Or whatever. But for me, it was alcohol. It was blurring those edges. And something that I really came to is that I've always been someone that feels deeply. Like, I could walk into a room and read it. I can feel other people's energy. Like, I've been so sensitive to that my whole life. And I always thought it was a bad thing. And I never really learned not how to manage it, but how to discern and what was my energy and what was others' energies. So that alcohol for me kind of turned down the volume a little bit. Right? We would blur the edges just a little bit. We would numb just enough to, not have to feel for a little bit, because this is a little overwhelming for my system. But as we all know, like, that also comes with the compoundingness of addiction, right? Of pulling for that, of needing that, of now we're not just blurring the edges or numbing, we're coping. So I wanted to look back at my journal entries to really pull at my emotional cords. And let me tell you, it really did. Oh my gosh, this was probably the most I've cried in writing an outline ever. But something before we get into it that was really interesting. I saw a trend in my writing styles. Because I'm reading my journal entries, from years back. And not that they're saying anything untrue, but I remember feeling those feelings, right? Like, I remember what was going on in my life at that time. And I didn't really write about struggling with alcohol back then. I never wrote about it, even though I knew I was in it. And then it got me thinking, was I scared? Was I just trying to focus on the positives of life? I'm not trying to get into the buzzy words of positive thinking and manifestation and affirmations. And if I don't think about it, it's not real, right? Was I just trying to only focus on those positives of life? And that's why I'm not sharing how I actually feel. It's okay telling you and telling me, right? In those moments, it was telling me. And I really had to have those moments of connection with myself. It's okay to be in the thick. It's okay to not be okay. And even though I remember these journal entries and writing about them, I was writing these statements of these I release statements, or these future statements, kind of like affirmations, which is all great, right? However, I'm reading this journal, I'm there's such a big missing link here. And allowing myself to feel the hard, or even acknowledge it. I knew it was there, but I wasn't acknowledging it. I was still trying to run from it and feel through it. I wasn't taking the ownership of it. And if you don't take the ownership and the accountability and have the awareness of it, those hard, big feeling emotions, they're going to stay stuck. We have to also be able to feel while we're navigating and manifesting that grateful, gracious, miraculous future of ours. We feel that if we're manifesting or want to manifest something, if we allow in the negativity or the hardships, then that's what's going to happen. But it's the opposite. We're allowing them as in that hardship, that negativity. We're allowing that heavy energy to finally come up and finally be heard and finally be felt, to finally be expressed and finally be released and processed and possibly learned from or have clarity in, or, that's when the rewiring and integration happens for whatever it is that you need in those moments. That's what makes space for that quote unquote manifestation, if you jive with manifestation. Like, we all, our highest selves, like, have a grateful future, right? A gracious, whole future. So let's get into riffing some journal entries. Like, let's go back some years back. And I just want to share a handful over the last few years to really pull and show you, and to possibly not like to bring up, feelings and experiences within you. But again, if it does and you're ready for it, amazing. But this is solely just to really bring awareness of being relatable, of not being alone. Yeah. So let's do this. The first entry I want to share is my first ever automatic writing experience. Okay. It was a very new experience for me. I was in like the beginnings of just energetic healing and learning about like archangels. And really, this was a few months after my spiritual awakening, actually. So, over a decade into my experiences with drinking. So this entry wrote, this is from an automatic writing. This was actually, I was connecting with the other side. So this wasn't me writing. It was a message to me saying, release your guilt and shame. You are better than you sometimes give yourself credit for, and you use alcohol as a vice to numb your presence. You are living in two different realms, Jenna. Be patient while you shed these imprints, wounds, and move into a higher state of consciousness. In another entry, a few months later, I wrote, I'm ready to stop using alcohol as a vice. I'm ready. I am ready. I am ready. I'm ready to heal this, because when this download came to me, I'm not showing my kids how to cope through and feel through emotions and feelings when I'm numbing them myself. When I got that download, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Another entry about a couple weeks later. I just don't feel like I belong. I don't think like the majority of people. I feel harder and I'm more sensitive. And I feel so defeated in silence because of the past decade have been a journey of failures and defeat, living and finding out my purpose and falling out. And that weight trickles over into my personal life, and I feel depleted. I feel overwhelmed, and I use alcohol to cope, to blur the edges just a little bit. This is a vicious cycle, and I want to learn how to end it. I know my intentions are pure. I know how much I can help myself and help other people. I just feel so stuck, and I don't understand my own feelings and emotions half the time. Why do I feel like a failure when I know I have so much to give? It makes no sense. Another automatic writing. Stop drinking alcohol, and I'll show you the miracles of life unfold before your eyes. Stop choosing alcohol, and I will give you the strength. Stop choosing vices, and you'll experience life so much richer, grander, and abundant. Surrender. Trust. You will prosper, and leaning into your blocks will set you free. Call on to the energies of the universe in those moments of struggle. Embody yourself. Embody your children's future. And think of the outcomes you feel after you use alcohol or sit on your phone. Or remember, you'll prosper in your own surrender and devotion. Think of no longer holding the guilt or weight or resentments within those struggle cycles and the anxieties of the what-if scenarios. You're not forcing on the negative to bring more negative. You're remembering in those moments of despair and struggle that you are able to choose another path. You can choose presence. You can choose happiness. You can choose feeling good. You can choose honoring your body. You are choosing to break cycles and generational patterns. You are choosing to set the example. You are choosing yourself, your kids, and your family. It is within you. Yet still trust in me. Surrender to the energies, and I will provide you with miracles. Another entry that I wrote. Sorry if this is really spotty. I'm like pausing because I start crying and then I come back. Excuse me. So another entry. Well, I did it again. I drank. I'm learning I don't have an off button. I mean, I knew that to an extent, but the guilt is really getting heavy. I don't do anything bad or wrong or drink until I don't remember. I just drink more than I want to. I'm a mom. What if something bad happened because of the alcohol or because of my actions? The shame and guilt is so heavy. My children don't deserve this. What in the actual fuck, Jenna? Why? I said this before and I'll say it again. That was my last day of alcohol. I want it to be. I surrender. Help me say no. Help me break this cycle. When in a few days, I'll be over this shame and this guilt cycle, and I'll just talk myself into it, just only one again. It won't hurt anything. You're not that bad. But I'm aware now. This is it. And spoiler, it wasn't it. But that entry was a shift. That entry, I started root cause therapy sessions. I think I just had the one under my belt at that time. But I looked back kind of at that journal entry and I was like, sure as shit, I started root cause therapy sessions on the receiving end of receiving a root cause therapy session. So that was after my first session. Whew. Here's another one. A really hard time. My biggest struggle, I feel, has always been my presence and feeling like my kids can tell when my mind is elsewhere and just not engaged and in play mode. I want to be. Gosh, I so want to be. I just struggle with it. I struggle with play. But I want to be the fun and funny and silly and spontaneous mom and have my children say, gosh, I love my life. Not even have to say it, simply just never have a doubt in their mind of the power and importance and the worth that they hold within themselves. So here I am, overstimulated, burnt out, touched out, trying to heal myself from the anxieties and overstimulation and dissociation and alcohol coping mechanisms of that disassociation that I just feel like I'm fucking them over. That they're just picking up the patterns that I'm so desperately trying to break, and I feel at a loss of not knowing how. I just want to pause time so I can actually breathe and actually have time for myself to learn. I feel everything is so rushed and everything is so instant and now that there's always so much to do. I just feel like I'm on this hamster wheel. But I know this. I understand this. And I have awareness of this. But how? The how I'm going to do this is the struggle. What can I sacrifice? What is more important? Where do I start? My sweet babies are my everything. I love them with every piece of me. Yet I also feel I need time and space for myself, for my own healing, to bring safety back to me too. For me to learn how to cope and regulate, to then be able to teach them how to. What's the most important piece in all this, Jenna? For me to be the most authentic, regulated version of myself, believing in myself and trusting I'm exactly where I need to be. And this is exactly what I'm meant to be going through right now. Asking myself through those struggles, why is this exactly what I need right now? I'm taking the advice and the love that I give my children every day and turning that towards me. And this will be the last one that I share. This is the first entry in here, and my other journal isn't even full yet. But I knew today, this entry, on this new moon that lands on my birthday, is the start of something new. The hurt in my heart, the anger, the guilt and shame in my belly. It's time to really, truly allow them to be heard, accepted, and to be set free. Words can't describe the palpable feels, the somatic feels, the inner knowings that I have continued to just shove down, to allow myself to revert to old habits and patterns when in familiar environments and circumstances. But this is what is known, what I have known and am now ready to fully embrace and embody. The little glimmers of light, and then things like the anger, emotions, guilt, shame, generational patterns feel safe to emerge, to be free. And then I revert back. Rather than allowing those feelings, the space and safety and love that they long for, I pull back for the same coping strategies, habits, patterns, and self-sabotage once again. I get so close and then revert back. The awareness has been there, and really the how and the why I took the complete pivot in my career over to finally listen and fall into my life's work, my soul's mission and lessons in this lifetime. It has been so beautiful, and I know I'm doing my purpose here in this life. My awakening was such a beautiful, raw unraveling. But that's the thing. When we are not unraveling, breaking to become new once again, no, not new, to become ourselves, more like ourselves once again. So this birthday, after years of having that greater awakening from those past, the one that was coupled with becoming a mom, shedding layers and seeing parts of myself that have been trapped for so long be brought to the light through my children's light, and a complete career change that turned into being my soul's work and purpose in this life. This birthday is a new awakening in itself. One that I'm going to learn and lean more into me. Know that others' opinions and beliefs of me are none of my business. That I have the power in me to be proud of me. I have the power to accept all parts of me. And that my truth are the only answers I'll ever need, always. That the coping mechanisms pull me farther and farther away from that truth. I am the only medicine that I need. And I've been waiting for that true embodiment. So I went on and I wrote a couple more pages. And obviously many, many, many entries since. But a big theme that I saw in those journal entries, I kind of already shared how I wasn't as vocal and open initially. And then once I started, after that spiritual awakening that I had, and like learning that emotions were okay to be felt, I started sharing a little bit more. But a big common theme was the anger. And that is something that I see so often once we start unraveling. Once we start possibly healing from our vices and coping mechanisms, what comes up then? For me, it was anger, and anger is a very common emotion. Insert not drinking as much, and the emotions I normally suppress started coming to surface. And I really want to drive this home because this is something that I see in my clinical practice working with others is the same thing. And then we feel that we're doing something wrong. We feel that we're doing something wrong because why am I feeling these feelings? I thought I should be quote unquote healing and feeling better. But before, not saying like before we start to feel better, but we have to allow everything that we've shoved down to come to surface. And that is some scary, heavy stuff. So these journal entries in this episode is not only about alcohol or sobriety. It's about noticing the patterns, the triggers, the guilt, those heavy, shameful emotions, discerning what's an identity, and learning that it's okay to feel through those hard emotions, that the embodiment, that the being, that you are still you through all of that hard stuff. You're finally letting your body process it, and that's what's scary because we were never taught, or I don't want to say never taught, we became very good at protecting ourselves, our systems from not feeling said emotions to now we're feeling them and it's overwhelming. And it wasn't until I started receiving root cause therapy sessions myself. Granted, I had to receive sessions to be certified, so that kind of gives you a little timeline. I went through energy healing. I became certified in Reiki. That was like the first thing I did with this whole career change that I talked about in the last journal entry. This is years ago. I got certified in Reiki, and then I got certified in meditation because meditation saved me postpartum. And I still felt that there was a missing link. I wasn't in the somatic mindset yet, but I knew there was something missing. I knew there was something else. And it was a 3 a.m., just a quick tangent story. It was a 3 a.m. Google search. I couldn't sleep one night, and I'm just like, there's something else. And as I'm a new mom at this time, I think I just had my second daughter at this point in time. And so now learning how to raise children, and here, my husband and I are learning how to raise these kids, but then we're like reparenting ourselves because we're getting re-triggered and like seeing all these things about ourselves that we've suppressed for so long. So I knew that there was something else, and I knew there was a tie to emotions, to, the feelings. And that's where the somatic practice of root cause therapy came in. Random 3 a.m. Google search. I'm like, this is it. Holy shit, like this is it. And then I went through, immediately went through the certification, and I had to receive sessions to be certified in root cause therapy. I had to give so many sessions to others and then receive so many sessions myself. So this is these learnings as I was going through this root cause therapy certification, that the behaviors or the coping mechanisms that we choose, so often we get so stuck on that, like on the tangible behavior or the tangible coping mechanism, the tangible alcohol, right? To when we allow ourselves to go beneath that, to notice the patterns, to notice the triggers as to why we're pulling for the bottle or pulling for the food or going, finding ourselves at the pantry again tonight. And why the emotions, why the guilt, why the shame. Like we're feeling the shame and we're feeling the guilt. We're starting to identify with it. So then we're pulling for that bottle to make ourselves feel better or to numb. But it's all acute, right? It's all an acute feeling. So then insert that vicious cycle of addiction. We come back down, the hangover is past, or we feel that guilt and that shame again, like our baseline is down and that shame built. Oh my gosh. The baseline is in the guilt and shame identity. So then the addictive piece is pulling for that vice to try to raise that baseline into maybe just feeling neutral, maybe getting little glimpses of joy or peace. But that's that's the thing. We're using vices to get there versus naturally allowing our systems to do what they're designed to do, and that's to fully feel and to fully process, to naturally, innately raise our baselines to that neutral, to that love, to that joy, to that peace, that presence. And it's a very slow process because it starts with safety, because a lot of us have built those protective survival mechanisms for decades of our life. So when I started receiving root cause therapy, it was so interwoven. Like all these journal entries, like as I was reading back when I was kind of writing this outline, I shouldn't have even like read the journal entries because maybe I should have, because I was sobbing when I was kind of prepping for this episode, because I was having all these like flashbacks of, being in those moments, and everything was so interwoven. And I'm going to share with you the first sessions that I received in root cause therapy had nothing to do with clearing alcoholism. I was clearing the layers beneath the behaviors of alcoholism. The very first limiting beliefs that I released within my system were a belief of not feeling heard, thinking money is evil, not feeling safe to relax, and always feeling betrayed. Those little ahas that I learned through those first few sessions of receiving root cause therapy myself and clearing those limiting beliefs to then rewire. I allowed myself to clear those energetic holds, to then rewire for safety, to rewire for truth. And these ahas that I was picking up on, they were coming up as I was, integrating all this other healing. It started to come up that alcohol, or a belief that started to come up for me was that alcohol was evil. So I had to sneak it. I was numbing out from actually feeling. That I felt that I needed alcohol to relax, to dissociate from that feeling, and to try to relax at all. Like all these little epiphany moments turned into, through the integration, through the neuroplasticity, through the rewiring process of, I feel my best when I don't drink alcohol. I'm creating safety in my body now. I am raising my baseline of emotions. I am raising my baseline of capacity. My anger and irritability is me finally feeling years of suppression and repression. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be right now. I am capable of helping my kids learn and regulate and process their emotions without vices, just like I am. Alcohol was a protector, but I know now that I can protect myself. I don't even have a date. Like every journal entry, I would write down, this is the last date that I'm drinking. I don't even remember the last time that I drank. It didn't matter this time because it wasn't forced. Like all those times I would mark a date, I would, try to force it, try to control it. It didn't matter this time because it was the natural byproduct. And I didn't even realize it was a natural byproduct until it was easier. It's like, oh shit. It's my first birthday, my first Christmas, my first New Year's. I didn't have a drink in almost 2 decades. And alcohol may not be your thing. Like I said before, it might not be alcohol, but maybe it's food. Maybe it's weed. Maybe it's another drug or shopping or self-sabotage or not communicating your needs. So if you're going through a struggle right now, number one, and most importantly, please take this episode in knowing that you are not alone in the silent struggles that you are facing right now. And also as a little bit of empowerment, you are not only healing yourself, you are healing generations to come and generations past. And that is infinite. Will I ever drink again? I have no idea. I have no idea. But what I do know is I have a lot more compassion and acceptance for those parts of myself that I shoved down that I would shame because of drinking. Gabor Mate says, it's not the addiction, but why the pain? I didn't just get sober. I learned how to sit with pain without running from it. I built a new version of myself from the shit. I don't even have a word for it. And every day I still choose to stay. And I'm sure now I'm going to get all these sober coaches and all this stuff about sobriety on my phone because it's been there a little bit, right? But everything that I always see is the energy I feel and my skin is so great and I sleep so much better and this is all great stuff, right? All these pros, it's great things. And yes, absolutely very well could be byproducts. But I always remembered thinking when I would see that stuff, I'd be I don't feel any different. There was no euphoric whoa for me. I still had little kids who I felt that were always sick, more sick than healthy, in those wintering months. I'm still not getting solid sleep through the night. I was, still waking up tired. Maybe that meant I was high functioning. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating the problem that I thought I had. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I would be diagnosed alcoholic or not. I have no idea. But I do know that I had enough awareness to know that I was using a vice that was pulling me farther away from myself. And that allowed me to continue to run and avoid and dissociate, and I didn't want that anymore. Living alcohol-free means being more present in the ordinary. And that is what it is for me. Being present in the ordinary, being present in the pain, being present in the boredom, being present in the hard. How easy is it to pour a drink if the kids are having a hard night and tantrums and that dinner bath bedtime rally is 3 hours long and you're let me just have a glass of wine to get me through. That's easy, absolutely. Blurs the edges, absolutely. Maybe makes you nicer, absolutely. But to be present in that hard, you're not only teaching yourself how to cope, but then once you learn yourself, you could help them. So I'm not going to say that I feel a million times different. I truly feel the same. I really do. I don't notice any big differences in the skin, the energy, anything like that is what I was getting at. But I was numbing to get the acute highs versus living in the present through it all. And for me, that is what it was about. That is what it is about. The presence. The peace in knowing that I am doing hard things. But also peace from the guilt. Peace from the regret. Peace from the anxieties. Peace from the what ifs. To peace in the presence, to peace in the healing, to peace in the generational patterns being shifted. Peace, acceptance are the examples being set. And I'm not shaming alcohol by any means. I'm not making my husband, whatever, that's not anywhere near what I'm doing. I'm not shaming. I'm, for me, highlighting the perseverance and growth through the hard times to bring yourself back to the peace and the presence of the ordinary. That example. To heal the patterns beneath our behaviors, whatever those behaviors are. And now I can remove myself and see from the outside looking in, insert reflecting, reading those journal entries back. I realized that it wasn't just alcohol. Alcohol was that symptom for me. It was the behavior for me of the underlying hurt and pain that wasn't being helped or accepted or seen. And that's where root cause therapy came in for me. And that's my story. Not just into sobriety, but to showing up fully for myself, for my children, and for hopefully generations to come. Alcohol, like any other coping mechanism, can be a teacher. I know that that might like be really hard. Like, what the fuck did you just say? Alcohol can be a teacher teaching you like to look beneath, right? And root cause therapy is what gave me the tools to listen to that teacher, to truly feel, to release, to grow. So if you're navigating your own cycles, know that it's possible to sit with the hard emotions. It's possible to break the patterns, to embody the life that you wish to live, that you choose to live. I'm sending you so much love. So much love. I wasn't sure how long this episode would be. I'm thankful it's under an hour, but thank you for still being here. And just know that you have the power to heal any patterns beneath, to feel fully, and to find peace and inner sovereignty for your life too. And I'm here if you're needing to walk beside anyone. I'm always here to support you. I love you so much. And thank you for listening and being here for part of my story. Until next week, as always, simply be you. You have everything inside of you to learn your energy of alignment and be unapologetic in who you are. I'm sending my love and so much light.
Did you find this episode free or empowering? Please read my review. Tickle, boop.
Thank you for spending the sacred time with me on Naturally Empowered Living. If this episode brought you closer to stepping into your energy of alignment, I'd love for you to leave a written review and share how this show has supported your journey. Your feedback truly lights me up and helps others find the space of transformation. And sharing it with someone who might need it spreads the ripple of healing even further. Be sure to check the show notes for ways to connect with me and explore personalized healing sessions and mentorships to deepen your self-awakening journey. Thank you. I appreciate all you are and all you do.